Reach for the sky, or I will shoot you down in the blink of an eye. Reach for the sky, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Reach for the sky, I got the drop on you, so raise them high. Reach for the sky. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley and Richter from deep in the bowels of our underground lair, where the food that we give you, the nourishment we deliver, is worth every penny, even though we are not charging you the extra 19% inflation. So take that and be grateful.
It's funny, Jay, you kind of are knocking on what I'm going to bring up here in our little opening there.
See,
you must be
prophetic.
I didn't know you could read at all, let alone read my mind. So it's you only did third grade 4 times. So I mean, right. I just figured, So okay, the song.
Yeah.
What was it called? Reach a mile? Reach for a mile?
No.
The Boy Who Could Fly? What was it?
What?
Reach for the Sky.
Yes.
Okay, I know the song. And I think it is that one group. It's Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac.
That close?
Not even.
Okay.
In the same neighborhood.
9 Inch Nails?
No.
Okay. Let me try another one.
Maybe right in the middle somewhere. Right?
Who's in the middle between that? Willie Nelson? I don't know. I know the song, but I don't know who sings it.
Firehouse.
Fire Hose. All right.
No, Firehouse.
House. Oh, House.
Fire Hose is a different band.
Is it really?
Yes.
Fire Hose, Firehouse.
Yeah.
Same difference. I'm going to give myself 1/5 of a point there.
Of course you are.
Yeah. Well, I got the song title right. You only said it 5 times in your.
You know the song and you know the band. They had a number of hits back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Well, they got to be better than Heart.
Well, I don't know. The guy had a really high voice. He sounded like some of these people walking around now that aren't sure which gender they are.
So, he's gender fluid. Okay.
But he's not.
The only guy who was really gender fluid in my mind was that Bobbitt guy. So Jay, I'll tell you what. I've been a long-time critic. First off, I go back to my principle of the cynical party. Principle number 1.
Yes.
Whatever the government says, the truth is usually the exact opposite.
Yes.
Now, just keep that in mind when I read to you the latest statistics. One from for here in the state of Minnesota, and one from the CPI about inflation. Now, first off, I think the employment crunch is worse than it's been yet. There's a sign up at the gas station by my house. Yes. They're paying $20 an hour to be a cashier at a gas station.
Oh my goodness.
And still can't hire people.
Yes.
They're closing early.
Yeah.
Because they can't hire people.
Yeah. Some of them, like I noticed a lot of holidays, not the franchise owned ones, but the corporate ones. Yeah. Sometimes they're closing like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday.
Yeah. 6 p.m. was one of them over by, there's 2 holidays that are fairly close to me. One's closer than the other. And they were closing at 6 p.m. a few times. Now, you could pump gas after hours.
Oh, okay.
But you couldn't go in with a credit card, but you couldn't go in. The Star Tribune, listen to this, is peddling this Minnesota unemployment rate of 1.8%. Now, Jay, unemployment is perhaps, I will call, the second most deceiving statistic next to inflation in the Consumer Price Index, which I'll get into in a second. They cook the books. There's 200 if factors.
Yes.
That, let's be honest, there is no such thing as an accurate unemployment rate.
No. I mean, the way that they calculate unemployment, it's strange because they take out all of the people that aren't looking for work.
Right.
But I mean, they're still unemployed.
Yeah. I know, it's so strange.
Yes.
I'm not going to apply for a job this week because of A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, we drop you from the number. You don't exist now.
Right.
You've disappeared. You're Casper the Friendly Ghost.
So let me get this straight. We had We had an unemployment rate of what, 3-something during Trump's presidency, 4-something.
It varied between 3 and no, that's nationally.
Right,
yes.
right, nationally.
Figured on the same statistics, but yeah.
And in the couple of years where things kind of went screwy with COVID and things were shut down and then kind of open, but not really. And now where everybody's looking for work, apparently there was such a baby boom of people that I don't know if they went from birth to 18 in like a course of a year or 16, they could work at 16, but somehow the unemployment rate dropped so far, with all these people that just seem to come out of nowhere.
Well, and there's other,
and yet there's jobs everywhere.
There's other fictions to this though, too. For example, if you are self-employed, let me, this is an employer survey. Yeah. This is the other flaw. If I quit my job, my regular job tomorrow, and started a business out of my house, I'm not employed and I'm not counted.
Yeah.
Now I'm working. I'm not counted in the statistics.
Right.
Okay. So there's other flaws to that.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody, a couple has a baby, and the mom decides to quit her job or go work part-time or quit for a year,
right.
They're now not counted.
Right.
So if you so it is all you have to do. This is what I say about things. It's kind of like watching a shortstop in baseball. I don't need to look at statistics. I've got the eye test.
Yeah.
If I watch Ozzie Smith, okay, I don't need to look at his stats to see that he's great.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And it's the same thing with unemployment.
Right.
I see the shortages. I see the empty shelves. I see places closing up early. I see restaurants closing and not reopening.
But you're not supposed to trust in what you can see, Andrew.
Yeah,
you're supposed
I know.
to trust in what the government tells you.
Now that brings me to inflation. Now there is nothing more silly than the consumer price index. And
right.
I can't, we could do a whole podcast on how stupid this is.
Yeah. And maybe we should at some point.
Maybe. But I mean, 9% inflation. Now, Jay, when you think about, and I know we've touched on this a little bit, but when you think about what is the first thing someone has to pay in a month? I mean, on your budget, what's the first thing you usually pay? Rent or mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay. What's gone to the prices of now? Prices for houses are not going up at the rate they were,
Right.
largely because the Fed screwed up and is now jacking up interest rates. But the price of rent and houses have far outpaced 9%.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two, you pay for your car, you pay for gas, you pay for blah, blah, blah. You know what a new car is going for right now?
Oh, goodness.
I don't even want to say.
Well, I'd seen a stat the other day, and it depends. Now, if you take the average cost of a standard car, I think it was around like $22,000. Might have been 16. I don't know. Anyways,
Cars people want or cars?
the average regular car. Now, the average electric car is going for about $66,000.
And to think, I think my grandma and grandpa paid like $21,000 for their house in 1948.
Oh, I know.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I'll share this. My wife and I looked up what we can get for her car, which I still have 10 payments to make.
Yes.
And what we can get Blue Book for the mileage it is the exact same that I paid for it in 2018.
What?
Yes. You want to know how high prices are? There's a good.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it's all about resale value.
Right.
And of course, the gas to fill it. We know what that's cost. How about food prices?
Oh, goodness.
But I mean, you think about a family, Jay. They pay the rent. They pay for their cars. They buy the groceries. That's where a lot of their money goes. Okay.
Food's all over 20%
Food
inflation.
some food is 50.
Yeah.
And of course, you have all the companies that dominate the meat market and so on.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, real inflation I mean, what you have to spend your money on. Okay, maybe movie theater tickets aren't up 30%, but I don't have to do that. You know what? I got to eat. Okay, so I think that's so deceptive that it's not taking into account everything that we have to pay. Go ask somebody what's happened to their grocery bill in the last year and tell me 8 or 9% is inflation.
Yeah.
I'm usually not an optimist, but I think people are not falling for, the old 9%.
How can they?
The old 1.8% unemployment rate. I mean, I don't know too many people who are buying that.
The only people that are buying that are the ones who don't know how to do simple mathematics.
Or maybe they haven't come out of their house since March 2020. I don't know.
Well, still then, if they haven't come out of their house, you're still ordering food and having it delivered to you.
That's true.
You're not living on couch cushions.
And remember that food, the increase in gas prices is part of the increase in food costs because, we have to get it there, and windmills and things like that don't transport food to the grocery store. Last time I checked,
right.
It wasn't that. So I mean, ugly all over. And you know what? Here's the thing. So they're making a big deal that gas is down like 18 cents in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not super duper high. We can all breathe a sigh of relief, folks. I just filled up for $4.49. And when I did it last time, it was $4.63. So I should, according to Pete Buttigieg, I should be doing backflips, which I haven't done since 1990. But the point is, I mean,
you should be close to a cash millionaire by now.
Yeah, I know all the money I've saved. Maybe we can buy a marble or something. But here's the point. The point is, I think, you look at what issues are important right now, and I'm telling you, what the politicians are talking about is not what's on voters' minds. And, I know Republicans could screw up a one-car parade, and they still might. Matt Burke keeps talking. I mean, there's issues all over there, but I mean, the president has just a few days ago set a new low at another poll at 31%. And I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
You couldn't be at 31%. You have to try hard to get that low.
You
got to try real hard.
Stupidest person alive would get something right once in a while. Every single decision is the absolute wrong thing.
By the way, I'd like a full accounting of what we've sent to Ukraine. What if those weapons land in the hands of the Russians and they shoot up a school? I mean, come on here.
Yeah, I think a lot of those weapons are greenbacks in the accounts of some of the leaders over there.
Which is funny. The last thing I'd want right now is U.S. greenbacks. We've done nothing but strengthen the Russian ruble because of the oil sales that they have. Of course, since we aren't buying from them, and the release of our strategic oil reserves is down to the lowest level that it's been since World War II. I mean,
just
we are at extremely low levels for emergency usage. So,
yeah, you know what though? I'd like to meet the 17% that say that the economy is in good condition.
Well, that could be Bill Gates.
Doing a good job.
That could be George Soros. That could be all the people who they're greasing their palm.
Yeah, the people that are making money off
green
this economy.
Energy. Who, we're financing their businesses. So, I mean, who knows who that is? Could be retired people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be a 20-year-old on mom's couch. There's 17%. I'll take 1 out of 6 are freaking morons. That's fine. I mean, that's probably the truth. I'll stick with the other 83 whose heads are out of their asses. I will stick with them anytime right now. Jay?
Yeah.
Query. Okay. We've done a lot of shows over the last few years on police departments.
Yes.
We've done a lot of shows on police reform. It's
a very important topic.
Well, it is, and it's one that I'm getting more worried about every waking minute because something's happening right now that I fear the consequences of, and I fear we may see more and more of this all over the state of Minnesota, maybe all over the country. And you know, there are some merits to it, and there's some non-merits to it. I am torn as a person who would like to see smaller government, even though government has its legitimate constitutional functions.
Yeah.
You know, there are things government is tasked to do here. And when I think of local government, cities in particular, Jay, public safety, i.e. police and fire protection, in some way, shape, or form is probably their most important duty. You know, I mean, not diversity and inclusion,
Right.
not transvestites in the park night, or whatever, you know, or you know, gender fluid cats or whatever the. Well, cats can self-identify now, can't they? I mean, if an 8-year-old can, why can't a cat?
They're independent creatures, so it's.
So, having that feeling, there is a story out of Morris, Minnesota. Now, Morris is in the western part of Minnesota, in Stevens
Not Morris
County.
the cat, Morris, Minnesota.
No, not Jack Morris.
Yes.
Morris, Minnesota. If you're looking on your Minnesota map, it is way out in the western part of the state, by Yellow Medicine County out there.
It is the hub for the University of Minnesota out in that part of the state.
That's right. And in fact, where we sit in the underground layer, it is 150 miles away, really.
Wow. That is a ways.
There's about 5,500 or so residents, 5,300, something like that. And they put out they are, well, let me back up a second.
Okay.
They have voted 4-1 to disband their police department.
Of course they have.
I say they disband the whole city council if you're not, if you don't have public safety. I don't know what we need them for.
Right.
I don't know what we need a city manager for. If you don't need police, then to me, you don't need any of that. But before I get to that, Jay, they put out a statement, a rather confusing statement on June 20th, 2022. The statement was from the mayor and the city council, Mayor Sheldon Giese. Who named their kid Sheldon? Can I just say that out loud? Okay. Councilmember Kim Gullickson, Councilmember Jeff Miller, Councilmember Kevin Wallers, and Councilmember Brian Solvey. Here is the statement, I'm sure written by a lawyer or some sort of paid hand
And
here.
just for those that are playing along at home, where do you find this article?
ci.morris.minnesota.us.mn.us.
Perfect.
It said the title of it is City Council PD Statement. Greetings from the mayor and city council of Morris. We're all concerned about the recent talks, rumors, and false news regarding the Morris Police Department. We're all in support of our local law enforcement. Of course you are.
Of course.
And strive to continue their ability to provide security and meet the needs of our citizens. We have met in closed meetings. Really?
Huh.
You met in closed meetings discussing the handling of the situation by the city manager, Blaine Hill. Are you supposed to meet in closed meetings? This is not personnel.
No, it's not.
You're considering disbanding the police department, and you are in closed meetings.
Yes.
They must not have a city attorney. I mean, that's the naughty.
Yes.
We have determined that the issue and facts were presented to the council and recognize the need for action is imperative to maintain our service. Due to different circumstances, we find ourselves shorthanded in the police department, but feel this may be temporary and we'll explore our options, blah, 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 blah. Listen to this statement. 2 of the council members will meet with county officials in an ad hoc joint committee that was set up years ago to discuss possible partnering between the city and the county. So there's an ad hoc committee out there to discuss this.
Wow. They just kind of get together whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, it's a no partnership. They just get together. Let us assure you, the Morris County Police Department is not going away anytime soon, and you will continue to enjoy the safety and security that blah, blah, okay, blah, 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 blah. That was less than a month ago.
Yes, that was...
or about a month ago that we're recording this here.
So, and just to say, that closed meeting was to discuss the handling of the situation by the city manager, Blaine Hill. So, supposedly, I don't know, they're putting all of the negative press on this guy.
Well,
it's this guy's fault.
Well, and also, like I said, this is not a personnel thing.
Yeah.
It's not about his contract or anything like that. We should be entitled to be able to listen to this discussion.
And when's the last time a city manager had the authority to get rid of a police department?
Yeah, and I would also say that if there are, well, let me just, I want to continue here to move on to the next article.
Okay.
CBSnews.com, City of Morris disbanding police department. This is from July 19th, 2022. So 29 days later, after that statement by Sheldon Giese, the merry group of people there, who assured us that the police department isn't going, assured the city of Morris, the police department isn't going anywhere. 29 days later, it's gone. Okay. Local leaders in one western city of Minnesota have voted to disband the police department, which dwindled to just 2 officers, including the chief. So it was Roscoe and Enos.
Yes.
Good you dipstick. Or it was, what was it? Andy Griffith and Marty Fife. Cletus made an appearance once in a while. They had Cletus on retainer in case somebody was on vacation. The city of Morris, listen to this, dealing with changing attitudes about policing and challenges in recruiting and retaining officers. Well, what is this? What do you mean, this changing attitudes about policing? I thought they were short-staffed.
Yeah.
Morris, with a population of about 5,200, and I'm going to get into this in a minute because that's deceiving because of the university.
Right.
Has budgeted for 8 full-time officers and an administrative specialist. The Morris City Council plans on signing a contract for law enforcement with Stevens County. And this police department has been around 140 years. Nationally, law enforcement agencies are only able to fill 93% of available positions, while in this city, it's 25%.
Yeah.
Now, can I say something here? Is anybody shocked, though, Jay, that some are having difficulty recruiting officers? I mean, with the way the police have been demonized, and look, I'm no 24/7 police apologist here. Okay, but there are consequences when you demonize the police, call them names. Why are we shocked at this? And
we shouldn't be. It's a college town. I mean, it is the bastion of every terrible liberal communist idea that that has surfaced over the last 200 years. It comes out of our universities, and so because of the ties to the university, anybody at a university get a degree and go on to do something, or they just go on to be an activist and sit at home with a degree and whatever, basket weaving or whatever you want to say, it just seems like universities are producing less and less people that are ready to enter the workforce, start a business, make a difference. And instead they're bringing on people with certain attitudes and so on and so forth. I mean, you have a city here with a college in it. Yeah.
There's 5,200 people, but the college is about 1,600 students. So they don't all live there 24/7 year round.
No.
So the population actually is probably more like 7,000 in this city.
Right.
So that's nice journalism there by CBS to mention that.
Yeah, and there's never a need for police officers on a college campus.
Oh, of course not, because they know all about diversity and inclusion. That's why
Right,
they're there.
and there's no drunken parties. Nobody is assaulting anyone else. No one is peeing in the bushes on the way home. No one is.
By the way, speaking,
nobody's sleeping on the wrong house's porch.
Well, one time in college, we all got trashed, and we started wrestling. I got hit over the head with pizza boxes, and then I got thrown into the piss bush. That's what I remember. We had the bush everybody peed in. And I got thrown into it. Goodness. It was a long night. So
wow.
We could take it a step further here, Jay, because the mayor did an interview July 20th, 2022 with NPR News. And of course, the hard-hitting questions that come from NPR News.
Yes.
According to the mayor of Morris, the University Police Department will support the sheriff's office as they take over law enforcement of the town. So the university has their own police department?
Yeah, I guess a lot of them do, or security, anyways.
So they got mall cops. I mean, are they
Although
really?
this sounds like police. They say police. It doesn't say security.
Is that part of tuition? That's interesting. That the university provides police while the city, which is mandated to do law enforcement by the state of Minnesota, disbands the law enforcement.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Smaller private schools usually have security. I don't know how U of M operates. So
neither do they.
Yeah.
Okay. Morris, here's question number 1 to Sheldon Giese, the mayor of, or how do you pronounce it?
Giese?
Giese?
Yeah.
Isn't, okay.
Honk, honk.
Oh, that's a loon.
Could be Giese. I don't know. Like the Germanic pronunciation, if the I is second, it's an I sound. If the E is second, when you have an I and an E together, it's the E sound. So it should
except
be,
after C.
It should be geese or Giese. I don't know.
I call it Giese. That's what I'm going to call
Mayor
it.
Honker.
All right.
All right.
Question number 1 to Mayor Giese. Morris isn't exactly a tiny town. You have more than 5,000 residents. You're a college town, blah, 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 blah. How did that happen? Well, it kind of happened over time, said Giese. We found ourselves with several officers leaving. Our most recent recruit efforts pretty much came up blank. So it was a really tough decision. Wasn't something that we could put on the back burner for a long time. How many officers in the department right now? We have a department of 8.
Wait, I thought they had 2.
Well, again, here's Giese giving us all that. There are 5. 1 is on medical leave.
We have a department of 8. There are 5.
Yeah, we have a department of 8 officers.
This is a college town and they can't add? We have a department of 8. There are 5. Well, do you have 8 or do you have 5?
Well,
which is it?
We're between 5 and 8, I guess. 1 is on medical leave. Must have hemorrhoids. 1 is the chief. 1 is an active patrol officer. 1 has turned in his resignation. And 1 is in the final phases of getting hired by the sheriff's office. They must not pay well. What are they, Tennessee wrestling? They must not pay very well.
You know, this could be summed up in 2 words. Terrible planning.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they've had a shortage for quite some time. This is obviously not something that's happened very recently.
Yeah. They've seen a decline for a long time, and they've done very little. They've tried to recruit people, I guess. But yeah, to your point, what do they pay? What are the benefits? What are, are there a lot of problems in Morris? I mean, what's the crime rate, I guess? It's a college town. It could be a little higher than going to Hutchinson or some other small town.
Could be, and you'd probably have to move there, and maybe people just, maybe it's just not a desirable place to move. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite. What does the future of policing look like in small communities like Morris? quote, they're cutting back or they're contracting with the sheriff's department, or they're making police departments smaller, offering less services. Probably not 24/7 departments. Well, would the police department close at a certain time? Yeah, 911. Hey, sorry, we're closed. Call back your call is very important to us. Call back. I mean, I don't know. So I guess they got to call the sheriff's office. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else does he say? That's the future until overall feelings toward police departments change. Well, sir, let me give you an attitude adjustment on that. You want to know why they're the way they are? Okay. You can thank the media. You can thank Black Lives Matter. You can thank all the liars out there. That's why attitudes are where they are. And the police deserve some blame too. You know, I've said this before. There are police tactics, Jay, that I don't like. There are police tactics I think are wrong.
Yeah.
I do, period. And I mean, I'm not going to get into it now, but it does happen. I don't expect a lot of people going into the police profession. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting to hear a mayor say this. So that's what's happening there. Now,
Well, can I just jump in quick?
Yeah.
Just looked it up. Morris annual crimes. They have 14 annual crimes. It looks like it says a total of 110. I don't.
14 crimes.
Morris crime rates are 16% lower than the national average. Violent crimes in Morris are 42% lower than the national average.
Well, if Chicago kind of bumps that up about 10%, so it's I'm kidding.
The rate of crime in Morris is 19.88 per 1,000 residents during a standard year. So
repeat that. 19 what?
The rate of crime in Morris is 19.88 per 1,000 residents during a standard year.
Okay, so with 50,
So almost 20
residents?
people out of 1,000.
Okay.
You know.
Now let me pontificate for a second,
Yes.
because there are bigger consequences to this than meets the eye here. We talk about defunding the police, getting rid of police, so and so, and the movement to do that. Is this a backdoor way to get rid of the police? You know, I mean, because I think one thing that has happened, and I think it's the truth, is that less and less people are going into the police profession. Is that discouraging people from doing that? Is that a backdoor way, Jay, to get rid of police departments?
Very well could be. Usually in a small town or small city of some type, you're going to have people that are very, very amenable towards public safety. People that love their police forces, people that want to see support of the police. You're never going to be able to get rid of police in those smaller towns unless you bring in a bunch of progressives that are looking to undercut it. And this could be one way to do that. We've tried to do all of this recruiting. Well, we don't know what scenarios they set up. I mean, whether it's low wages, poor benefits, they just didn't hire anybody. They could have had 150 applicants and just not hired anybody. We don't know.
A search firm to help in that process while they're looking for a police chief.
Right.
I mean, is that something that has to happen? What are they doing? Putting an ad in the local Gazette? I mean, I'm being serious though. What are you doing to get out the word? I don't know what they're doing, but I think one of the things that concerns me is cities of this size. If it moves in this, because look, Jay, there's a benefit, I think, to having a very, very local government making decisions that is closest to you.
Yes.
Okay, now my city council, now you live in Morris, your city council no longer controls public safety, which is their number one job. They're going to kick the can. They're going to kick everything up to the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
If you have an issue with policing, if you have a complaint, If you have a local issue, you have to deal with the sheriff's department now. Okay, and I'm sure that's not going to be the sheriff's department's number one concern. Okay, Stevens County, which is not big in population, it is a decent sized landmass, so they have a lot of ground to cover. Let's just say, now you don't have that local, accountability and feeling anymore. So is there a benefit to having that? Should we have that or should we not have that? And you look at how many cities, Jay, fall into this population of 5, 7, 8,000 residents. Are they all going to start doing the same thing?
They may. I mean, if they're having trouble recruiting, they may decide to go that route.
Even if they're not having trouble recruiting. I mean, you take cities in Minnesota, 5 to 10. I don't know that all these have police departments now, but you look at 5 to 10,000, Litchfield, Dayton, Delano, Isanti, International Falls, Orono, Little Falls, Thief River Falls, Oak Grove, Cambridge, Detroit Lakes. There's Baxter, East Grand Forks, Waite Park. I don't know that they all have them now.
Yeah.
But Falcon Heights. Is this going to now become the norm? And I'll tell you what, if it becomes the norm, I have a couple other questions.
Yeah.
Does not this make those elections for those county board seats and your sheriff doubly important? Triply important?
Yeah. Absolutely it does.
So, I mean, these elections that we just ignore and can't pay attention to and never do became 2, 3, 4 times as important as they were before.
Right.
So, I mean, we're going to have to say it again and again and again and again and again until my shorts fall off. Your county board and your sheriff. I'll throw county attorney in there, even though it's not as relevant as, it's not as relevant to this, although I think prosecuting criminals is extremely important. Those elections just got, let me say something too. How many people, if I walked into a bar somewhere, how many people do you think could name their sheriff outside of Hazard County?
I think most people, maybe not in the metro, but outstate Minnesota where it's a bigger deal. I think
so?
I think they can probably name their sheriff.
Well, and I guess in Hennepin County, people can probably think of Hutchinson, but not for a good reason.
Right.
So it's not for a good reason, but most people probably have heard of him.
Most people ran into him at the local liquor store
or
something.
They ran into his husband. So it brings me to another question, Jay.
Yeah.
Local law enforcement.
Yes.
You have a city. They got a city code. Who enforces that city code now?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, is the sheriff's department going to come out and handle zoning issues?
Measure the length of somebody's unmowed grass?
Are they going to manage, different types of business permits?
There's 2 kids fighting at the local Dairy Queen. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who enforces the local city code if there's no local law enforcement?
Yeah.
And by the way,
hey, Bill's dog won't stop barking. It's like, come on. This the sheriffs are gonna just start hanging their head in shame because guess what I gotta go do. Yeah, I don't know.
But I'd like to see. It's funny too. One of the things that the defund the police or the I hate the police movement has been pushing is minority police officers. Yeah. And yet at the same time they demonize the police, but they want more minorities there, which is strange. But to me, the lack of people going into law enforcement. I still feel this is part of, and again, I'm in this overall movement to defund the police. They're chalking this up as a win.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably are.
Yeah.
They got rid of the police department. Mm-hmm. They defunded the police without, and by the way, you going to lower taxes then in Morris? They don't have a police department to pay for. I don't know.
Right. I mean, some money will have to go to the county.
Yeah, and I don't know how that works.
I don't either.
I think it's based on maybe based on 911 calls or something. I'm not really sure.
But to touch on something there, they want to hire more minorities into public safety, but then the minorities that go and work for public safety end up getting called Uncle Toms, and equated with white people. So what minority in their right mind is going to want to go and hey, you recruited me. Well, you're the man now. Sorry.
Well, and my concern is that you're going to see this kind of go on everywhere. You're going to see every department kind of scratch their head. I mean, for a charter city, it's not that simple. I don't know that they can just disband the police if it's called for in their charter. A charter change is a lot more difficult to make. But I'm looking at cities, Jay, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people, and pretty concerned about some of these cities maybe looking to get this down the road. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, exactly. I don't know. I mean, did the university have anything to do with this? That's a question that I have. I'm looking at an article from CNN from back in 2020 that says the University of Minnesota will scale back ties with Minneapolis police after George Floyd's death.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so, and we covered that, but, we already know that the University of Minnesota is not friendly toward police.
Well, and add the local school district, Minneapolis school district there too. Yeah.
And how much of Morris, and that's something maybe I should look up, how much of Morris is employed by the college?
Well, and not just the college.
A 5,000 town.
Not just the college, but it's the county seat, meaning all the county government jobs are there too.
Right.
So it's probably a city that's half public, half the city probably is employed by government in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't mean that 100% as a negative. Like I said, you need people to pave the roads, and you need people to be on the fire department, and you need, you need people to plow. It's not necessarily a huge negative.
Right.
But yeah, it's head scratching. I mean, take a city. I'm going to throw out a city like this, Gaylord, Minnesota.
Oh, yes.
Southwest of here.
Yes.
Gaylord, Minnesota has a police department. Guess what their population is?
Goodness, I've never been there. I have heard of it. It's probably, since you're bringing it up, it's around 5,000 somewhere, right?
No.
Some words? No?
About 2,300.
Okay, it's about half the size.
Yeah, it's on the way to New Ulm, southwest, northwest of Mankato. That's where Gaylord is. So here you have a city of 2,300 with no college or university. Yet they have a police department.
Yeah. Well, they should.
But do they go, the hell with trying to recruit people, the hell with trying to do this? Screw it. We'll just go to whatever county they're in. I can't remember what they're in, but I'll look it up here because I have to know.
Yes. It's good to know where it is. Yeah, I know it's west of here, isn't it?
Gaylord?
Yeah.
Southwest.
Southwest.
Like you're going to New Ulm?
Yeah. Okay.
Sibley County. Sibley
Oh,
County's where it
right.
is. And Sibley County, not exactly a huge. Gaylord is the county seat.
Really?
Sibley County only has 15,000 residents, but
Okay. Well, I mean, we could see this in a lot of places. I have not yet heard of Duluth wanting to get rid of their police force. So I wonder if you would have, like, my hometown of Proctor. Population is a little over 3,000 because it's right on the border. I could see them, they have a pretty small police force. I could see them farming that out to Duluth.
sure, or St. Louis County,
Some sort
right?
of joint power thing, yeah.
How about a city? Here's another police department, Mountain Lake, Minnesota. You know where that is, Jay?
Oh, yes, I've been there. I've played music in Mountain Lake before. That is...
No, not
you head
Mountain Dew, Mountain
You
Lake.
head on south, and it's kind of southwest of here. You go out past... it's kind of in that same direction.
It is. It's out toward...
Hour and a half from here?
Yeah, like you're going to... it's west of Mankato, like you're heading to Windham,
Right.
Worthington, that
You have
area.
to take 169 down to Mankato and you go west.
Yeah,
Yes.
60, I think you go on. St. James there. Okay, another city that has a police department, they have 2,100 people.
Okay.
So, I mean, again, are these other communities that Cottonwood County is what that is in,
Okay.
and Windham is the county seat. Some it's not even the county seat.
Huh.
And the county seat's important because that's where the county sheriff's office will be, the courtroom, that kind of thing's already set up there. And yet, I mean, it's to me, it's a real concern. I think that from a financial end, government overall might spend a tad less.
Yeah.
But is money the only consideration? I think I think they could scrap complete streets or something like that before they would scrap their own police department.
Yeah, I would think so. But we know what the push is, and we know that things are getting more and more difficult financially too. And this is where, as a city, and we have cried out about this for years, that, hey, things are good, interest rates are low, but someday, if you bond and you bond and you bond and you bond and you borrow, someday the economy is not going to be in good shape, and interest rates are going to go up, and then what? And you
Bond
tell me that
again.
these people don't see the writing on the wall at all? That
No.
they're going to have some real trouble? I mean, I assume they think they'll get bailed out, but when that money isn't coming, you have to start cutting stuff. What do you cut?
You're right though. Debt service is a big problem. I mean, how many of these communities we've done podcasts on it haven't saved a nickel, haven't paid for anything in cash, have crumbling roads, crumbling buildings, and they just assume they can just borrow to fix everything.
Yep, they've put people into power that really don't know what they're doing.
Well, and I'm going to add to it. Here's the problem. Here's the real problem with bonding. You take out a 20-year bond and you throw out the city council, and 4 years later you have new people. They still have 16 years to pay on those bonds.
Right.
You don't just get rid of the bond. Doesn't just go away. Now you can not write new debt, and of course that helps.
Yeah.
But the idea, it's hard to turn that around. It's hard to turn that attitude around.
Right.
And again, if you're paying all that money in debt service while some other cities offering $10,000 more a year to be your police officers, You don't have it. And then you add to it the time we're in now with rising prices. Everybody's demanding more money. People are like, you're going to pay me this or I ain't going to work. I mean, rising home prices. I mean, there's all sorts of things. Unfortunately, I'm going to be a pessimist on this. I see this as something you're going to see more and more and more and more and more of. Mm-hmm. You're going to see these mid-sized cities. I mean, people talk about a city of 5, 6, 7,000. Well, that's not that small. I mean, what does Robbinsdale have, Jay? 13,000?
Yeah, 13.
Something like
13
that.
plus, yeah.
So, I mean, okay, it's half the size of Robbinsdale. When you think about it, it's not that small. And, you're going to disband the police. What if cities at 10,000 decide to do this? Now, obviously, there's city charters and things like that would have to be amended and changed. Those things aren't easy. But is this a case too, Jay? And I don't know if I'm arguing for the state to come in and do anything, but statutory cities, okay, we have to follow the state. Does the state need to step in here and say, look, you can't just abandon every single police department in the frickin' state?
Right.
Does the state have to say, okay, if you're a statutory city of X population or more, you can't disband your police department? I mean, just saying it's easy to say local control, but when you see bad decision after bad decision, I mean, what do you do to stop the avalanche?
Right. Well, you have to have people come in that value public safety and who are willing.
But see, their argument is, I'm not valuing it. I'm just kicking the can up to somebody. You're still going to have it. Yeah. It's just not coming directly from the city.
Right. So
now, I get what you're saying, but that's going to be their counter. And maybe they're going to save, $5,000 or something, which of course they'll just spend on, light rail or something. I mean, they're just, whatever. They'll hand out some more money to the city manager or whatever. But here's my question. Here for Morris. If you don't need a police department, why do you need a city manager? What's the city manager doing?
Yeah.
Make the mayor the city manager, but elect a new one. We don't need Mayor Giese.
Right.
Contract it out. You can contract out your police. You can contract out your city manager.
People don't pay attention. That's a problem, and I'm just kind of looking through some headlines here, and Morris, especially the U of M and Morris, but even some other things, really heavy into diversity and equity.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. Equity, diversity, and intercultural programs. Equity and diversity staff. Equity, diversity, intercultural programs, Morris, Minnesota. University of Minnesota, Morris, PA 5. Diversity and equity coordination. Diversity and equity recognition. Clement Liu, Student Success Coordinator, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. Equity, Diversity, Intercultural Programs, Morris. Equity, Diversity, Intercultural Programs. But it's not just at the university either. I mean, you also have it, how to focus on equity and inclusion at the Morris School District. You also have Discovering Small Town Equity, Minnesota Women's Press. It says the Center for Small Towns was created at the University of Minnesota Morris in 1995 to create, connect, and identify needed resources in cut off there. But in communities of 10,000 or fewer people. 2012, recognizing the rapid growth of immigrant families in the region, the center launched a years-long study with everyone from teachers and elected officials to new Latinx family members, or as Biden says, Latinx family members, bless you, to generate a report of community needs. The center has been helpful to fulfill those needs since. So, and anytime that you have all sorts of equity, inclusion, diversity, what tends to follow? The police are racist. The police, are they treat whitey great. They treat everybody else like dirt.
Now, let me ask a question. Does the University of Morris, does the do they have to follow the University of Minnesota, all the schools there? Are they all governed the same way? I mean, the whole chain of a Minskew?
I would think so. Yeah. I guess I don't know that, so I can't say yes definitively. But, anytime that you bring this in, I mean, it's been designed to deconstruct traditional American values and structures at their core. It's not about making America stronger through bringing in people of diverse backgrounds and talking about their strengths and employing their strengths.
Or their similarities.
No,
I mean,
it's about tearing down the existing structures to build something new.
Yuck.
It always is, every single time.
Extra yuck. I need an X. That's Mr. Yuck extra.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Jay, I mean, you people out there in that county really need to pay attention to those county races and that sheriff's race. And this is something we're going to have to stay on top of, because if I had to guess, you're going to see more and more of this. I mean, I can't possibly see it being less. Quite frankly, I'm surprised we haven't heard a lot about this so far, about other cities doing the same thing. So,
yeah.
I mean, this is one thing if it's a township of 100. It's another thing for a real city to be going forward at this. And I don't know how big can it get? How big of a city, can decentralize like this?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
And the county has a lot to do. I mean, the sheriff's office has a lot of responsibilities. I mean, they have a water patrol. They have, I can't even go into all the stuff they have. It's a big job, and they have a lot of, like I said, they have a lot of land mass to cover in a lot of these counties. It may not the amount out of residents you have in a county like Hennepin or something, obviously not.
Right.
But there's I'm sure there's not a lack of things to do. So it's kind of, I don't think they're getting Boss Hogg's lunch, across the street. I don't think that's what the sheriffs there are doing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm concerned about it. I think that the lowest form of government is usually the best at handling a lot of this stuff. So it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is. Anytime that we see the decay of civilization, as it were, and the things that have, especially in a lawless society, which is where we're headed, is a completely lawless society that just shirks all rules, all laws, all norms. And then on top of deconstructing that, you're moving into a lawless place, and then you deconstruct the only thing that holds together any kind of social order on top of it. It's a very dangerous place to be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I know the citizens there got to be just scratching their heads. I think it's time for y'all to start running for office there.
Oh, yeah.
How about that as a solution? Some new council people in Morris, Minnesota. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Good question as to whether they have already passed the filing deadline.
Jay, you freaking read my mind. That's what I'm looking up right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If you haven't, I mean, there's a chance for you to make this change. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with the same thing for the next 4 years. And or at least 2 years till the next election, and then everybody forgets about it. I mean, do you remember going back here to kind of when we started?
They have not filed yet. I'm sorry. The mayor
awesome.
and 2 council members are up this year.
That means control of the city is up. 3 out of 5 seats.
It is. I mean, I just wonder if they delayed a decision like this as long as they could to not shore up a hornet's nest. I mean, if they did this 6 months ago, where opposition could really organize,
yes,
I wouldn't put it past people in government to do that. I would never do such a thing. So
yeah. But do you remember? It was when we first kind of got into this, and maybe you weren't at this meeting, but you saw the aftermath of it. The very first time when they wanted to redo County Road 81, and I didn't whip everybody up. I educated them over at the VFW in that area.
I was probably
town.
drinking upstairs.
I don't know. But then everybody went to the next council meeting where they were going to vote on it. It was standing room only. Everybody passionately spoke about what it was that they believed in, which was, we don't want these changes. We don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want to rip out homes. We don't want to rip out businesses. We want our community left intact. And they decided to go ahead with it. And everybody left that meeting. Oh, it's a good thing it's an election year. They're all going to go, And how many people, what was the turnover in that election?
Zero.
And this was how many months later? 6, 5? I don't know. It
was that
not
November,
a lot,
but yeah,
not a lot. I remember the sitting mayor at the time who told you, if you don't like what you're doing here, go move to the middle of nowhere.
Though, but yeah,
right. But I remember her coming around that year to the Night to Unites, or it was what was the other name for it at that time? The
block parties.
Yes. National Night Out, and coming around to our neighborhood. Oh, everything's going to be great. No, I don't want to get rid of the airport. No,
she was quoted in the News Star Tribune.
She was quoted in the Star Tribune for wanting to get rid of the airport, and she was quoted in meeting minutes from the Met Council Metropolitan Airport Commission meeting as wanting to get rid of the airport. But hey, as long as she can go around and soothe everybody's fears and lie out or tutor that she is not going to do that, but nobody overturned it.
Yeah, she ran into me and you, who would look that up.
Yeah.
Nobody else looked that up. That was the thing. Well, Jay, I know a little shorter of a show tonight, but this is an issue we're going to get on and stay on. So I got a feeling over the next few years, we're going to see, unfortunately, more and more of this. And this is the defund the police right here. Can't hire people. People won't go into the profession. Morale is low, and I can see why.
Yeah.
And again, I'm no police apologist. You aren't either.
Right.
I think
when they do stuff right, I'll congratulate them. When they do stuff wrong, I'll call it out. But we need them.
Yeah, it's an essential for local government, what they do.
Absolutely.
Want to dial 911? You're in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine nobody there.
Yeah.
Okay.
They send out the psychologist.
Yeah. Send out Jason Seaver, Dr. Jason Seaver from Growing Pains.
Right.
He comes out.
Oh, it'll be worse than that. It'll be some.
That's true. At least Seaver would, get a proper. He'd at least be okay at it. They send out somebody.
It'll be somebody that on her business card it says she, her at the end, or she, them, and she's got on some sort of cardigan tied around
Butch
her
Cassidy.
shoulders.
It'll be Butch Cassidy. That's what it is.
That's what it'll be.
All right. Well, it seems like it's been a while, Jason.
Yeah.
Heard the sign-off sermon here. Once again, sorry for taking our little summer break there, but we needed it after 250 whatever shows. But once again, Community Solutions presents Stylin' and Profilin'. Jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. With the sign-off sermon, ladies and gentlemen, here he is once again, Cowardly Lion haircut and all. Jason Bradley, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew. But I just want to say, we have not taken a summer break. I mean, we're working on a lot of campaigns, a lot more than we ever have. And I'm expecting good things this year. You know?
I get a feeling we'll be bragging in November. I get that feeling. It'd be a good Thanksgiving.
I'm giving thanks every day. But, yeah, we're working hard on behalf of the state to make sure that cities just like yours can be moving in a new direction. And it's important. We have to. We have to be able to start again. If there were ever a reset button, participating in local elections is it. Because I tell you, this woke stuff, it's just a disease that won't stop. It won't stop. So what do? How are we going to tackle this? I mean, look at what just happened. I don't know if you followed it all. David Chappelle had a sold-out show here in Minnesota at First Avenue. Club I have always wanted to play the main stage. I've played 7th Street Entry. Never been on the main stage at First Ave. Always wanted to do it. They came out and canceled Chappelle's show because people filed a petition at change.org and they were all worried about his transphobism or whatever. You know what, First Avenue? You're going to end up empty, desolate, and out of business. And I don't care. I don't care. I used to want my name on one of those stars on the side of the building. I wouldn't want my name uttered in the halls of the bathroom at First Avenue.
They can utter my name, though. While they're peeing. Really? I mean, you guys are a bunch of cowards. You know? Really, we want to offer diverse voices. No, you don't. If you wanted diverse voices, you wouldn't cancel Chappelle's show. You want one voice. You don't want diverse voices. You just want the other side because you're scared. You're a bunch of scared children who are afraid to stand up to anybody or anything. How does that make you any different than anybody else? That makes you cancelable. No, it's people like Chappelle that'll stand up to people like First Avenue and all the little minions that want to sit and file petitions in their underwear in their mom's basement on change.org. No, these are the people that are crying about wanting litter boxes in the high school bathrooms. No, it's not going to happen. So, whatever. First Avenue, good to know you. Maybe when you change your tune, things will look a little different. But it's the same disease. And it doesn't seem to matter, whether it's First Avenue, whether it's Target, whether it is City Hall, whether it is the school board chambers. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's the same thing, and it affects everything it touches. And I know I'm just a straight cisgender white guy. I can't be saying that kind of stuff. Well, I don't care. I really don't. I don't care, because it is when we stop speaking out that we become slaves, and I'm not going to do it. But this is what happens. We start kowtowing to this mentality. And next thing you know, we're getting rid of police in our cities. Next thing you know, we're making six-figure
positions for people to come in and be equity coordinators in our schools, in our city councils, in our county boards. And, we're saying that we can't have this type of housing because it's not racially sensitive to have big single family homes. You got to have renting. What, you telling me people of color can't buy a house? Telling me they shouldn't be able to buy a house? It's ridiculous. People of every color, creed, nationality, belief system, whatever, there are those that are just as smart and as talented and able to do things as anybody else. You are the ones that are telling them they're not able to do it. You are the ones that are the racists because you tell them they can't do it and they need the government's help in order to get it done. They need the assistance of the universities, they need the assistance of the government, and they need the assistance of the businesses. Well, no, they don't. And I'm sure, just like most other Americans, they would love the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet, prove that they can do it, and dominate their field. Because let me tell you, they are every bit as bright and as capable as anybody else. So you want to sit there and tell people they can't do it because they're this and they're that? I'm sorry, the problem is with you. Nobody else. Because I can tell you this, I don't know any conservatives that would be unwilling to hire somebody of color if they are if they are capable of doing the job. If they are the best person for the job, they will get it. That's not us doing that. So what are you going to do, America, Minnesota? You who go to work and you come home and you shuttle your kids off to this and that, and you're involved in your church and you're involved in your community. What are you going to do to make sure that this mindset doesn't win? Because that's their goal. And they don't take a day off, and they're not going to take it easy, and nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. They are in it to win, and they will do whatever it takes because the ends justify the means. What about you? Have you dedicated yourself to this yet? Have you said that over my dead body am I going to let freedom die on the vine here in this country? Where are you? There's still a number of races out there this year that do not file for candidacy because they do not have a primary. The time is coming up, and you got to be aware because it's coming up pretty soon. So if you're going to jump in the ring, now is the time. Now is the time to consider it, to put the plans in place, and to make sure that you are on the ballot come November. You want to do that? You come talk to us. You come talk to us. You can find us at commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. That is commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. We are helping a whole ton of candidates this year, and we are not done. We are not ready to rest back on our laurels. No, we are pushing through to November 8th, 2022, because we know that freedom hangs in the balance. We're burning the candle at both ends, and we hope that you're at least willing to light yours, to join the fight, and to come and do something great. Are you going to be one of the ones that saved America? Or are you going to be one of the ones that just watched what transpired? That's up to you. But we've done what we can. We'll be back very soon with another podcast. You can bet your bottom dollar. Because we love you, Minnesota. But now it's your turn to get to work. let me be. If I get too caught